Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Robert Stickle. I'm also joined by my colleagues Jim Patterson and Paul Estabrooks. Jim and Paul will be today's presenters and will discuss the topic of NextGen work management on the Microsoft Power Platform. This webinar is a new addition to our extensive library covering all manner of project and portfolio management topics. If you enjoy this video, we welcome you to view the others we have available on the OnePlan YouTube channel and also our website. And as always, I hope that today's presentation grants you some insight into the world of project and portfolio management and gets you excited for the new developments happening within the industry and here at OnePlan. Thank you again, and I'll now turn the presentation over to Jim.
Thanks, Robert. Welcome, everybody. We're excited to present to you in this joint webinar with Microsoft on this topic of next-gen work management on the Microsoft Power Platform. In the topic area today is where Microsoft's going, and we're going to start off with some introductions of who we are as OnePlan Solutions. We're going to focus the bulk of our time on presentation of the concepts as well as demonstration that Paul will be providing. And as Robert mentioned at the end, we'll have the ability to address any questions you put into the chat panel and address those, and you can put them in there as they come up during the course of the webinar. So with that, let's get started. So OnePlan Solutions is really focused in this area of project and portfolio management. We're consistently recognized as a leader in this area. We were again named Microsoft's Global Project and Portfolio Management Partner of the Year last year globally in 2021, and a finalist in the Power Apps and Power Automate area as well. We hold multiple gold certifications, and we're recognized by the analysts like Gartner and Infotech Research, and certified by people like Scaled Agile Inc. for our ability to handle the more lean and agile customers in that portfolio management realm as well. We're here to help you in whatever regard or to what degree you'd like us to help you with. We're a full service firm that can help with both the people, the process, and the technology aspects of putting a solution and these processes into place. So just let you know that if you're looking to transform or do some things like that, we can help you either with just the technology or beyond. So with that, let's talk about Microsoft's future vision for Project. Microsoft Project's been around for a number of decades now, and it's got a very loyal and large user base out there as a dedicated scheduling system and tool in the marketplace. But the way work is evolving and the way project management is evolving, Microsoft is adjusting to that. And their current vision for the way projects should be handled today and in the future is the modern work management vision says that teams should be able to work the way they want, and executives should still get the results that they need from this tool set and process. Now, Microsoft Project itself, they're moving it to empower companies to achieve better results by aligning their investments with projects and resources and working with agility and flexibility and collaborating globally, with cloud-based solutions, all using intuitive, consistent tools in the Microsoft platform. And we're going to talk a little bit about that evolution and show you some of that today. Now, in modern work management, there are a number of problems about work is happening everywhere and it's distributed, and sometimes we end up losing track or visibility into all that. But the focus areas here is about the teams choosing the tools to work the way they want, and also the fact that not everybody that does project management today is a classically trained project manager. In today's world, sometimes people are occasionally dubbed a project manager for a certain effort, and maybe their full-time job is being an engineer or some other business aspect, a role in the company. And the idea is we have to provide things that are easy enough for them to get started with and actually to manage those projects without being highly trained or certified as, say, PMPs by Project Management Institute. And we're going to focus on those aspects here today. Now, all of this that we're going to talk about today is delivered via the Microsoft Cloud. So in this day of privacy and security and compliance around all of this we're going to talk about today is leveraged in the Microsoft Cloud and with the Microsoft Power Platform. Anything that you take advantage of in here today, be assured that it is governed by enterprise-grade performance and guarantees of 99.9+% uptime. The ability to have licensing to not only have the practitioners have the tools they need to actually build plans and manage things, but also access from even Office 365 users who can view their plans and such. And the idea is to be able to selectively choose who can participate in what projects through Microsoft 365 groups, like you do in Teams today. So Microsoft is definitely changing. While there is not any date certain announced, Microsoft announced plans to reimagine Project, and they announced this a couple of years ago. And the idea is that they launched this project for the web we're going to show you here today. And the vision forward is to provide future PPM capabilities in this new platform that Project for the Web is built on in the Power Platform. The idea is, while general in its nature, this notification from Microsoft back then just said, think about making that transition, because it will be happening. It's not today, but it is coming. So just be aware that this is the direction that Microsoft's going with project and portfolio management. So in this evolution, if you look at the third node in this diagram with Microsoft Project Professional, people have typically thought of that when they thought about Microsoft Project, the desktop application that people can build robust schedules and do pretty advanced project management techniques within that tool set. That became the de facto standard and the largest scheduling tools, out there in the marketplace. Now, that Project Professional could be used standalone as a desktop tool for individual schedules, or connected to a server for Project Server or Project Online to provide advanced portfolio management in that regard. But sometimes that was considered too heavy for a lot of folks. Not everybody needed all the robust capabilities, and some people were using Project Professional only using maybe 10% of its capabilities. And then came Planner in Office 365, and it was meant to handle lightweight things, and people started trying to manage projects in there, but it really is a task management tool. It doesn't have a scheduling engine. It doesn't have dependencies and the like that people are used to thinking about in a project management realm. And that's where the fit of this project for the web came in, is to fit somewhere in between there. A lighter weight, web-based version of project, but indeed with a scheduling engine, the ability to quantify resources, the ability to give ready access and visibility into all of this within the Microsoft Cloud, and make it easy to share that information and do things like co-authoring. So that's where that fits into the mix. And consequently, there's different tiers of licensing that's available. Plan 1 is Project for the Web. Plan 3 is that Project Professional Desktop, plus the ability to connect it to projects online should you want to. And with that, you also get access to the Plan 1 or Project for the Web if you already own that license. And then for the advanced things like advanced portfolio management, a Plan 5 license is available for that. But just wanted to give you a context of where this Project for the Web is intended to fit in. So on the evolution, people who are trying to do project and portfolio management for a number of years now have been using Project Server or Project Online, which was based and is based on a SharePoint or SharePoint Online foundation. It provided the ability to have a central repository for all your schedules, to be able to, instead of save to files, publish your Microsoft project plans into a secure database on the back end and make that data available for general sharing and reporting, etc. Now, as Project is evolving and moving away from this platform and moving into the Power Platform, Microsoft has launched and has been out now for a while, this Project for the Web, and it is built on the Power Platform. And we're going to talk in detail what that means, and maybe in a crawl, walk, run type of scenario, how you could leverage this and access and consume these capabilities. They've also, in the Dynamics world, moved to a solution called Project Operations, which is more geared towards that professional services organization, the ones that really have to have granular rate structures and billable efforts to internal and external customers and such. And these are the areas that Microsoft is investing into for future solutions for portfolio management. And depending on your use cases and your needs, one of these will be able to fill the bill for you. But eventually, these are going to fully supplant Project Online. Now, this new Project for the Web is really designed to be simple yet powerful for project management for everyone in the organization, even that occasional or accidental project manager I described earlier on. It really has the ability to give you a fresh new experience, web-based, modern UI. And if you look here, there's simple list views, like working with a spreadsheet, as you see on the screen here, or even Gantt chart or timeline views that you see here, or even working with that same data in a Kanban board like you would in Planner, but having the strength of a scheduling engine behind it. So this Kanban board type of interface that you see up here on the screen now. Now, the differences from the old Project Online is that this is built on the Power Platform, and its repository for this data is now a database repository called Dataverse in this platform. Many of you are using some of the Power Platform today. Power BI is part of the Power Platform for reporting and business analytics. Power Automate is part of that platform for business process automation and workflows, et cetera, and some connection of data between applications. And then Power Apps is the low-code, no-code platform that allows people to easily fashion solutions without necessarily being developers and pulling those things into place. And we're going to talk about some pre-built stuff that's available for you today that you can leverage in the project and portfolio management realm. Project for the Web itself is a tool that stores its data in the Power Platform, not in the old SharePoint Online foundation that Project Online was stored in. So we provide a nice, robust, modern environment and set of capabilities in this Power Platform that Project for the Web is based on. Now, if you have any thoughts about whether or not you should go in this direction, be assured that this is a strategic direction for Microsoft. The Power Platform, like Microsoft 365 and Dynamics 365 and Azure, are core to what they're doing as a company per Satya Nadella. This is where they're moving, and Microsoft stated that in the project management realm, this is where all their investments are happening for future development. So let's talk about solution implementation options and how that might work. So I mentioned earlier on kind of a crawl, walk, run scenario. Not everybody's in the same place or at the same level of project and portfolio management maturity. So if we think about it from a base product perspective, somebody could just use Project for the Web as a scheduling tool, much like they used Project Desktop, only that it's web-based. And it stores that information, your projects and your tasks and your dependencies and all that stuff, stores it out in that Dataverse repository. And then there's a standard set of Power BI reports and dashboards that get automatically fed by Project for the Web, such that you can just get the aggregate data from that via reports only. If we look at that, think about multiple project plans you might have as an organization, maybe just yours or maybe yours and other people's, going into that Dataverse repository. Then being able to use Power BI reports to surface aggregate data across those multiple projects. So it doesn't really require a solution, it's just saving your plans into that Dataverse and leveraging the reports that are made available. This is in its simplest base context, but has its limitations as far as the things that you might want to do. Now, think about these same plans going into that same Dataverse repository, but through the use of the very capable Power Apps platform, that low-code, no-code platform, you can now fashion solutions around this to which the schedule data is only a part of the mix and only a certain dimension of the project and portfolio information that you'd be capturing in this solution. And we'll talk about this a little bit more. So what's included in that? Well, first off, we mentioned that it's a low-code, no-code platform, this Power Apps platform, but it's not necessarily everybody's desire to build their own solutions from scratch. To that degree, there's a Microsoft Project Accelerator, or PPM Accelerator as some call it, that's available to get you started here with a pre-built solution. We're proud to say that OnePlan Solutions was enlisted by Microsoft to partner with them to build this accelerator, to make this available as a solution that people can use as a foundation to then further build off of if they want to, or use it as it is. And that's available with things like project requests, program aggregations, portfolios of projects, resources, reports, and such. So instead of just the schedules, like we talked about with projects and tasks within them, like in that base product with just the Project for the Web and the reports, we add to the mix via Power Apps things like issues, risks, change requests, status reports, and narratives and data, governance process and KPIs and such. The ability to have project request area that you can actually capture and vet your projects and promote them to projects when it makes sense to do so via workflow in this Power Platform. The ability to aggregate and logically group projects into programs so that you can have some program management capabilities in there as well. All things that you don't get with just using Project for the Web by itself without the Power App. And then the dashboards and reports, not only are they available as they were in that base use case that I showed you, but now there's reports in that mix that allow you to see portfolio level information, program level information, and issues and risks, things that didn't exist if you were not using this accelerator. So if we think about that, demand management, so an intake or request area and corresponding reports around that. Program management with aggregations of projects into programs and program level roll-ups of information. Individual project management done by Project for the Web using this accelerator. It's built for this Project for the Web use case, where you can use standard list or sheet views or Kanban boards or timelines like we talked about earlier on. Risk management, so you capture risk logs and do reporting on risks across all your projects. Issue management, the same type of thing. Change management, where you can log change requests and go through approval processes so that you're working on changes that everybody's thought through and approve and agree to. Status reports that not only have objective data on what the current state of the project might be based on the data in the system, but also the ability to add your narratives for each reporting period of explanations of why you're at where you're at or maybe what you're going to do about it. And then project intelligence, the accelerator report pack that has an extended set of reports beyond what's just there if you're just using Project for the Web by itself without the accelerator. And by the way, this is a Teams app, so people can actually interject and use Project for the Web and even the accelerator for that matter right within Teams. So if you're collaborating in there and you're doing other things in Teams, these are now accessible and available within the context of your use of Teams. And many more of us all the time are spending our day living in Teams, and having it accessible right through there is a powerful plus. Now, there's many people that with the accelerator and Project for the Web can do everything that they want to do, and there's people that fit into that mold. But if you talk to people like analysts like Gartner who talk about different levels of maturity of project and portfolio management, there's other capabilities that many people are looking for that aren't quite there yet. Things about detailed financial management, maybe time phase resource capacity planning, advanced project portfolio management, including things like scenario modeling, time management, meaning timesheets and things like that, that people have to record time against those for whether it be billing to organizations or just for delineating capital versus expense dollars based upon the things in a project. And these things can be added to the mix here. And that's where, in a more of a walk phase, this is where folks like us, like OnePlan Solutions, come into the mix and be able to add or extend this for advanced PPM capabilities as well. As you see here in the graphic to the right, the purple Power Apps add-ons that we showed you in the last stage, in that more crawl stage. In the walk stage, OnePlan brings in strategic execution as well as strategic alignment. It brings in additional portfolio management capability, including what-if analysis that can dovetail with your prioritization and selection process. Time phase financials of different types, budgets versus revised forecasts versus actuals. Resource capacity planning in a granular time phased way. And in the ability at the bottom, this my work and timesheet for the team member to be able to go into one place to be able to see what's on their plate, be able to provide status or record time against those things, and add those to the mix. If you have needs in this regard, OnePlan was designed to plug right into the accelerator to seamlessly add these capabilities into that user experience. So if you think about the capabilities that we're adding to the mix here, additional portfolio management capabilities, resource capacity planning, financial planning and tracking, as well as the ability to do some additional things. The Power Platform and Project Accelerator are designed to work with Project for the Web. There are use cases out there where customers have still the use of Project Professional on the desktop, and they have needs to have its robust capabilities available. Or maybe you're having agile projects in the mix that have to come into your portfolio, and people are using things like Azure DevOps or maybe Jira, a non-Microsoft solution. And to be able to have these come into the solution requires an additional capability that OnePlan provides to bring those projects into the mix, even though they may not be using Project for the Web itself as its scheduling tool. And then, as I mentioned, including time tracking made available as well. So if you go into this run mode, really add the additional capability of connectivity and provide you the power of choice for those execution tools, which, remember, the vision is work the way you want, but leadership still gets what they need, right? And in that case, if you look over onto the right, be able to bring in planning data from things like Planner or Project Desktop Professional, or Project for the Web, or Azure DevOps, or Jira, or other sources, and have them all come together into a common portfolio, OnePlan's connectors actually bring that into fruition right within the context of that accelerator. So the power of choice is to have a portfolio that has a number of different feeds into that, to be able to provide portfolio visibility across all work, regardless of the scheduling tool that's being used. And in this case, showing you icons that would be on the side, showing you the source of data. Is it Project? Is it Azure DevOps? Is it Jira? Is it Planner that the schedule is coming from? Being able to do the resource capacity planning in a consistent fashion across all those projects, even though different scheduling tools might be being used, and do prioritization and what-if scenario modeling. Be able to do financial planning. Paul's going to show you some of this. Financial prioritization and what-if, so with financial-based what-ifing. Strategic execution through OKRs and strategic portfolio execution, as well as being able to align your projects with these strategies. And then insights, to give individual users a homepage where it draws their attention to things that require their attention, things that might be falling off track, things that they may have overlooked, conversations regarding the things that they're intimately involved in, and access to projects that they're involved in very quickly. And then the time reporting piece that's important to so many people in so many different organizations. This all happens through a not custom one-off code and integration. OnePlan has its OneConnect connecting integration platform that allows people to connect a lot of different tools with standard integrations we have, and the ability to easily fashion ones for ones we don't have yet. But the software development or agile tools, you see Jira's logo and Azure DevOps. The financial tools to connect to your financial ERP or HR system. As I mentioned, individual work management or project management tools, your service management tools like in Dynamics or Salesforce or ServiceNow, CRM systems like Salesforce or Dynamics, and even other ideation areas. If you're capturing intake and ideation in something like SharePoint or AHA, those things can be all brought into the mix here via this connector platform. So with that overview, I'd like to transition it over to Paul Estabrooks, who will show you some of these things in action and show you that it's here today and ready for you to take advantage of.
Thanks very much, Jim. We're going to walk through, I'm going to dive into the accelerator and its core capabilities and spend a bunch of time there, and I'll kind of end with a bit of sort of what some of the stuff that Jim just covered in sort of show you that as well. So see how it expands, how it can grow with your organization as your needs grow and mature. So what you're seeing here is the accelerator in Power Apps. So I'm on the home screen, the dashboard here, and I can see very quickly, I can access some core information that I might need to know. You can obviously create different reports to put here as well that dive into the data that we're tracking within this PPM solution built right here in Teams. So that's sort of step one. The next piece that we'll spend a little time on is we have a Power App in here where we can come in and create an intake experience. We get asked for this probably in 2/3 of the customer engagements that we do, and a Power Apps is a fantastic story and solution for doing this. It's being able to make this available to the whole organization, perhaps embedded in Teams. There's lots of different ways you can go about it, but have this form that can be filled out. So if I just quickly open up one, you'll see a form configurable with the kinds of information that we might want to know about something that's being submitted as a new idea or a new request. And behind this, you could use Power Automate to then run through a whole series of reviews and approvals and so forth, and then move it on to become a project further down in the Power App you see there on the left called Projects. But that will start with this initial engagement. So, you know, the accelerator comes with a form. This form is configurable. That's a common theme you'll see throughout this, where we can capture that information, do a little prioritization. We might have configured sort of what we want to do in terms of how we want to rank this particular idea, or why we think it's such a compelling thing for us to do. So project ideation and intake is here. This is something that I think is a real great step forward, and it's a great way to engage the audience in your PPM solution by getting that common intake option. Next up, from a project management, there's these two components, and those of us who've used Project Online, this was always a different thing, and I think this is a real step forward for Microsoft in how it approaches PPM and the kinds of solutions it's providing customers, is this ability to articulate programs, or if you wanted to, you could add another Power App that does portfolios and have sort of a 3-tier model. Or maybe you want to use it as a product-based model where I have products, not programs. Some do that. Whatever the case may be, this idea of a container that within it are a set of projects. And so here, if I'm just going to randomly click on one, it has information about it, about this particular program. It has financials. So here, the program itself has a budget. It has some expected benefits and an ROI calculation. But what it also has is this remaining budget. This idea that the projects that make up this particular program, there are a bunch, they have budgets themselves. And those budgets are consuming the program, but we still have room. Yet there is room for us to take on more work as part of this program, or potentially because there's future phases and they haven't been calculated or budgeted out yet. So we have some money in reserve for how we may execute on this program. This is a real step forward. It's very, very useful. Most customers that we would deal with are looking for this type of capability. And likewise, I can actually do a status report on the program. In addition to a status report I might do on each of the projects, the program itself will have a status, and it can be articulated independently of the projects or in conjunction with their data. So a real step forward here with this particular Power App, and again, configurable to take on other information that someone may need or want to be tracking, but it can have a start and end date. The program itself can have an owner, independent of the owners of the different projects. So lots of rich capability here to do the kinds of program management that so many customers out there are looking to do. Next, we're going to dive into the heart of this, and we'll get into the projects piece. So here I have a list of projects. I could start to do some charting against those projects and some reporting. I have a very simple sort of this particular view has some status information, which I can actually edit right on screen. So highly interactive, highly quick for us to sort of engage with that data. But if I want to dive into the project, I want to spend a bit of time in here on some of its capabilities. So here on this first screen, the kinds of summary data, if you've used Project Online in the past, would have known this is a project detail page. So the types of information that would have started in the project request, would have come over as this project was evolved from an idea to an active project. We have some other information that's rolling up here. We can see sort of how this fits into the overall program and its budget and so forth. And other data that we might want to be capturing. We're pulling some data in from the schedule, and we'll get to that in just a minute as well. Could also have a business case. So this might have been data that came from originally the project request. So how it scored at a prioritization, how we might have described it and so forth. So all of that rich information carries forward as any good PPM system would. Where did this originate? How can I keep that information central so that the team that's going to take this on understands its history and its background? And now at the core of this is Project for the Web. So we'll let that load up. And we're going to first look at this in a grid. This is the tasks we're going to do on this particular project. So we're scheduling this using Project for the Web. So you can see here, I've got a list of tasks. Let me just get that warning off the screen. And I can jump to any one of these and look at its details, open up the details, and you can see who is the resource on this particular task, when's it supposed to start and end, what's the duration, is there a checklist associated with it? So some things we need to do in completing that particular task. Does it have any dependencies? The one I chose doesn't right now. We'll look at some that do in a minute. And some of the other, and what effort we have on this particular task and any attachments. So fairly rich scheduling information, and that's the grid. We also have a board view. So getting more towards that sort of agile thinking, a bit of a borrowing, if you will, from Planner, I can also now look at my tasks through a series of different types of board views. This particular one is grouped by buckets. So we created sort of some buckets or milestones or sort of large groups. I could turn around and look at that in terms of progress. We have a completed task, we have a bunch we haven't started, and we can move something into in progress very quickly. So I could start to sort of manage this in that board view that's becoming increasingly popular as people move to sort of more of an agile type of approach. Or maybe they just want to look at this in a timeline. So let me just quickly scroll to task. And you can see there's the one I just marked sort of half done just by moving it in the board. It's now here. And I have the traditional Gantt chart type view where I can link tasks to each other. I can create a milestone. You can see requirements complete right here is a milestone that we have marked. And we're looking at this in a more conventional sense. So we start with the grid, a grid where we can articulate the tasks, assign resources, start end dates, and so forth. We can view it, manage it, and so forth using a board with different types of pivots and views on that data. And then we can also view it in a timeline. How do these tasks relate to each other? Where are the dependencies? Who's on what? How are we progressing on this particular project against the original plan that we set out? What's also here in the accelerator are some core components that, again, in the Project Online world would have been in SharePoint. And now they've been elevated, if you will, to be their own power apps, to be data within this structure that we can access and report on and engage with. And here we're looking at, we had some testing delays in this particular project, and that is a risk that we're worried about. It's been assigned to someone. So we can come in here if I wanted to add a new risk. We are presented with a form. As always, the form is configurable for us to fill in what's the issues that we might encounter, or risk rather in this case, and how does it, what information do we need to know about it, and how are we managing it or mitigating it as we move forward. Won't bother filling one out. Likewise, we can have issues. So risks, issues, change requests are all here. They're created in the accelerator as the core components that anyone trying to manage a project and a project team needs to be able to access. And Power Apps become such a clever and effective way of going about that by giving us this access to this core information right at the project level, easy to use forms to engage the entire project team. So issues, if we had any change requests, we could put one in here and create a new change request, or we can complete a status report and save past status reports and be able to go back and view how is this progressing. Any PPM system needs to have intake. It needs to have an ability to organize projects into programs and have those programs have an owner and have a budget and so forth. Be able to track the projects, and within those projects, be able to assign resources to tasks, monitor progress, track risks, issues, change requests, and status reports. Those are all crucial pieces of information, and the accelerator provides all of those right here out of the box. Away you go. You can configure this. It's all built into the Power Platform, embedded in Teams if you'd like. Engage with your audience here. It's easy to use and interactive forms. Now, Jim talked a little bit about sort of how we've elevated this, so where we've added some components. So I'm just going to quickly switch this particular view, and you'll see we've embedded into this Power Apps experience some of those other components that organizations often look for. The ability to track my work. What tasks am I on, and can I status those tasks? Okay, what's my work for Daniel? I've got some overdue ones, go figure. And I might want to status those. Do I need to do a timesheet? Do I need to do some other things? And I'll get into portfolio optimization in just a second. But if I come back here into projects, and I'm going to go back into that same project, I'm just going to flip a little button here real quickly, say that we're going to add OnePlan capabilities. And you'll notice embedded right inside this user experience, we've extended this to now be able to articulate what resources we might have on this particular project. When are we going to need them? To do some more rich, robust resource planning over and above the schedule itself. So here's what are the tasks that we have people on, and where are they working on this particular project. And likewise, that ability to take the budget to that next level of detail, dive into it and look at it in cost categories and forecasts and so forth, and build this out even further. So all of this is embedded in that same user experience. We're simply extending it. And clients come up with all kinds of ways that we can leverage the Power Platform to extend this, to add new capability, to leverage some of the things that we have at OnePlan, as well as their own ideas, and continue to build out more capability here. And then I'll sort of end on the analyzer to come in here, and Jim mentioned things like prioritization, to be able to look at our list of projects and get in and do a prioritization exercise against those and decide where do they fit. When we did the project request, we had a prioritization score, so we could start to move projects up and down, and we can execute some of those portfolio level analysis and planning around how we want to move forward. Where are we going to invest our dollars? How much dollars are we investing? What type of dollars are they? What resources do we need? Where do we have resource over allocation? How might we handle that? So it's a rich experience. We're extending what Microsoft's done with the accelerator and where that's going. It's very exciting to be able to leverage Power Apps to add functionality, to interact with other business systems, to bring data in for the PMO to use or project managers to have immediate access to it. And the Power Platform gives us that capability. And then we've added in some of our features here. And Jim, with that, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right. So, Paul gave you the basics on the accelerator with Project for the Web and extending it with OnePlan. Happy to talk to you a little bit more about the connectivity and bringing those additional plans for things like Microsoft Project Desktop or Azure DevOps into the mix for those particular projects, but that's definitely inherent and core to the value adds that OnePlan brings. So let's summarize and talk about some next steps, and we have some a special offer for you guys at the end too. In summarization, we talked about Microsoft is in the process of reimagining Project and Project Online. The new Microsoft solution is built on the Power Platform. Microsoft, the PPM Accelerator, was built by OnePlan Solutions, so we have very intimate knowledge of it and can help people do that and extend it very readily. As well as the new Microsoft solution does not yet have full feature parity with what was in Project Online, but the combination of Project Accelerator, Project for the Web, and OnePlan actually provides capabilities that go beyond what Project Online had and has more than what was there. So you have the ability to kind of even move the ball further than you were able to do in the past. And the PPM Accelerator with OnePlan, not only extends that, but it provides solutions for you that can be tailored, as Paul said, to your specific PPM processes. And we have the services and the support to help ensure your transition and help you get value out of this quickly. To learn more about Project and Project for the Web itself, you can visit the website that you see up there below, or try Project for free with this link here. And by the way, reminder, you're going to get a copy of these slides. So you're going to get this afterwards. We're going to send these out to you. And you can also get more information on this at support.microsoft.com/project. Now, we do support customers if they want to go into some free trials with Project for the Web, Accelerator, with or without OnePlan. So please reach out to us if we can help you with that. We do provide roadmap workshops if you're interested on what it would take to get into this from where you're at today. You might actually already own the licenses to some of the technology that's required. So we can help you figure out what it would take to do that. And we gave you a very high generalized demo today. A personalized one-on-one demo for you, if you're interested in that, we're happy to schedule that with you as well. You can reach out to us at contact@oneplan.ai or check out more about us at www.oneplan.ai. Also, if you'd like to connect with either Paul or I to discuss these in detail any further, you could, of course, reach our OnePlan contact us email, like we said, but there's our QR codes to connect with us on LinkedIn if you care for that as well. Once again, you'll be getting a copy of these slides. So with that, I thought we would take an opportunity to say, if you have any questions about what you saw here today, put it in the chat panel. We're happy to address them as we're here on the webinar. We did get one. Can projects be associated with certain portfolios so you could have different portfolio views? Yes, you can. You can actually sort portfolio designations, and actually OnePlan augmenting that actually can take that to a very significant detail level on different portfolios. I got another one here. Can you apply a template standard schedule to a new project or as a starting point? Do they have to be built from scratch each time? You can copy a template project. So you can save a project as a template right now, or save it as a project and make a copy of it to use it as a template. Project for the Web is on its roadmap intending to actually provide template capability here in the near term. And the OnePlan scheduling tool also allows you to start projects with templates as well. So the answer is yes to that as well. So there's some things available now and additional things that'll be available here in the not too distant future. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, thank you everybody and have a great day.